Hey friends, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking Zoom recorders. Have you noticed they recently dropped their brand new series of 32-bit recorders called the Essential series? Well, if you have, we're going to talk about those today. I'm going to share with you my thoughts and a couple of things I don't think are really getting the press that they deserve. Today's video is being recorded over here on the Blue Ember. It just boomed right out of the way. So if you like the sound, you'll know where it came from. The Zoom series of recorders has been a staple in my wedding photography, videography, live streaming business for years. I've done countless projects on location, used these recorders. I've even made commercials for local businesses using these recorders. They have been an absolutely fantastic piece of equipment that I've enjoyed using for the past decade, easily. One of the things that made them really unique was the ability to pop off the microphone capsules so that you could exchange those microphone capsules between different recorders, but also to give different recorders functionality that may not otherwise be there. I have really enjoyed using that over the years, but when I look back at how often I've used the on-camera or on-device microphone, it's been quite a bit lower than what I might have thought. So when I think about the microphone capsules, I think about a couple of things. I think about home recording, and I think about run and gun recording, and the one that's been the most helpful for me has actually been the shotgun mic on the Zoom F1. This is something that I have been easily able to adapt to fit onto my camcorder, and then that gives me a much better microphone than the built-in microphones, which are usually pretty good on camcorders, or at least the ones that I'm purchasing. I like this shotgun microphone quite a bit right here because it's lightweight and it just sounds great. Does a good job of rejecting off-axis noise, and I always enjoyed having the ability to record my audio on a separate channel. Although this is just one channel right here, it was nice to have that to come in. Now, all of those accolades aside, the first thing that you might not know is you can't use your old microphone capsules with the new recorders. And doesn't that kind of suck? I mean, think about this right here. You've got a microphone and you want to go from a shotgun to a shock mount, right? Smaller package, easy. This could get right on top of your camera. Now you've got stereo left and right inputs on a shock mount, real nice. The problem with that is that now with the old recorders, none of the microphone capsules will fit on the new recorders. And does that make any sense? Like, why is that? Well, the reason is because buy the new thing, right? That's the reason. Zoom talks about it on the website and says something for which I'm paraphrasing here. Like the new microphone capsules had to be updated so that they could work with the 32-bit float architecture. Really? Does my Sennheiser E835 need to be updated? Of course not. Does that mean that you can't use your Rode pod mic? Or your SM7B? Or your Sennheiser 416? Of course not. That's ridiculous that they have to update the microphone capsule to work with the new 32-bit processor or processing. No, all of those things to me just mean that they want you to buy the new microphone capsules. And I think this is a reason where I'm going to jump into now and say, for what particular purpose other than it's been 10 years and they want to sell you some more money? I really don't like that as a practice. The concept of killing off an ecosystem of perfectly good, well, peripherals that I've been using, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Which that brings me to my next point. Look at these recorders right here. These look like something you could take out professional, nice, understated, maybe some industrial kind of looking steampunkish stuff, possibly because of the wires that are exposed in the shock mounts. Definitely a novel concept, but they look good. Have you seen the new Zoom Essential Series mics? These recorders themselves, I think they look horrible. I mean, not that the way a recorder looks is that important, but I just think they're ugly. And coming from a company that made something like this to something like that, I don't know about it. So I don't like them because they're ugly. But that doesn't change anything about their recording capability, right? Just because they're ugly doesn't mean that they can't record well. And that's true. They do record in 32-bit float, which is really nice. I've got no problem with that. I have a 32-bit float recorder, my Tascam Portacapture X8. I've only needed 32-bit float twice, and I've only used it twice. And that's when I have had to mic a DJ for a full reception where I had to walk away and I didn't need to send live sound out from what the DJ was doing. The DJ could be used for reception, but oftentimes they're also used for live sound at the wedding, which means the amplified sound of the ceremony. So if I'm not going to be miking the bride and groom for whatever reason, then the next thing I have to mic is the DJ. And I don't know if you've ever met DJs, but they have no idea about levels for audio and video. They have all idea about levels for the people that are dancing on the crowd. And you get DJs that play like hip hop or alternative type country or rock, and all it is bass, bass, bass. In fact, I've worked with a lot of DJs that only thing they know how to do is make it louder. They don't know how to make it sound good. The music, that is. And that has to do with mixing. Loud isn't always better. Good is better. Loud is just louder. And in those instances, I have been happy to note that using my Portacapture X8 in the 32-bit float mode, or the Zoom F3, which will work very similarly, a 32-bit float recorder has been very helpful. But that's only two times out of the entirety of, 2 years since I've had the Portacapture, that I've needed to use the 32-bit float. And in both of those times, it came in handy. So there's definitely a place for it. But most of the time, I still need to set the levels on my camera through my recorder to get the proper level to send out on a live stream. And I just can't imagine going up to a groom and putting a mic on the groom and just walking away without checking my levels. Something that if you did, you would have properly set audio in the first place, thereby leading to less likelihood, if any likelihood, of clipping. And then if you were doing a redundant backup recording at minus 12 decibels, you just wouldn't need 32-bit float. My point is to say, when you've got excellent recorders on the market still that are slowly becoming discontinued, and recently I saw this recorder right here, not with this capsule, but the Zoom H6, an absolutely fantastic recorder with their stereo and wide AB XY mic, the big one that's right here. I recently saw this on sale on Amazon for like $179 with the mic capsule. Goodness gracious, if you're out there in the market, this is the way to go. And while you're at it, in this short period of time, while everything's transitioning to the new Zoom architecture with their X32 or with their new Essential series, you might as well pick up the entire recording line of the Zoom handhelds. You could get the F8, or you could get the H8 or the H6. You could pick up the microphone capsules, and you'll still be able to get them at a price before they skyrocket. They likely will skyrocket. Now, Zoom made millions of these things, so they'll be on the market secondhand for quite some time, but I think now you're probably entering the best time to buy the first of the lastly produced devices. But out of all the microphones that you see on the table, there's only one that actually has batteries in it, and that's my H1N. Now, I don't know if you've seen the new Zoom Essential H1 or H1N, whatever they're calling it. I think it's just as ugly as sin. And the first thing I don't like about it is the fact that the microphone capsules aren't captured. Yes, I recognize they're cheap and it's plastic and it doesn't really matter, and it probably will survive a fall, but what do you think would survive a fall onto the microphone capsules better? Do you think it would survive here, where it hits the protective ring, or do you think it would survive with just regular old mic capsules exposed? Absolutely, you'd want them to be protected. And that's just something that Zoom has decided to walk away from for some reason. In any event, this still has batteries in it because I use this all the time. This nice little recorder right here just feels good. It works. I do my guitar recordings on there. I put down my thoughts and things like that. I just use it constantly. And I like it better than something that you back up to the cloud like on your phone. I mean, I keep notes and things on my phone. Obviously I do. But this right here is mine. No one else gets to hear it. It's just my thoughts, my recordings, my things. And it's handy. It fits in a pocket. I've always enjoyed the sound quality out of it. I've enjoyed the feel, the soft touch start and stop buttons. The other buttons are kind of clicky, but you know, that's okay because you're not usually recording when you press those buttons. It's lightweight, and I've even put it in a groom's pocket from time to time with a lavalier microphone and just pressed record, and it's done a great job. There are many things I like about this small handheld recorder, and I think it's worth picking up right now. So that's my thoughts on the Zoom series right there. The first two takeaways are real simple. If I was going to put a bow on it, here's what it would be. 32-bit recording is great. 32-bit float is absolutely awesome. The likelihood that you actually need 32-bit float is extremely, extremely low. Now, if you have 32-bit float and you know you need it, it's like with a camcorder. Then you know you need it, so go ahead and get it. But if you're wondering about whether or not you need 32-bit float or you don't need 32-bit float, 24-bit 96 kilohertz is a sample rate of ungodly quality, right? And if you wanted to capture in 2496, you would have a great time doing post-production with that file. It would work wonderful for you. Most of the time, if you're going to master a song, you're going to record it in higher and then export it in CD quality, 16-bit 41K, or maybe 24-bit 48, possibly. But the reality is, if you don't know that you need 32-bit float, you might be able to save some money. The second thing I would say is they killed an entire line of peripherals. These are just now no good without the original recorders. I don't like that at all. I think that's a terrible business practice. There's no reason for it. I can't see. And I think that the reason that Zoom gave, I think it's a bunch of bunk. I think they just want us to buy the new ones. It's a cash grab and I don't like it. As far as whether or not the recorders will be great, I have absolutely no question. As you can see, I've purchased 4 Zoom recorders in the past and I know that the quality is still the same. However, I do think I like Tascam a little bit more for different functions. But that is the wonderful thing about living in the market that we have. We can purchase the equipment that works well for us doing what we need it to do. So this has nothing to do with using Tascam versus Zoom. This has everything to do with, I think they could have given us something a little bit nicer, better, something. I don't know. These are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think they're ugly? Would you use 32-bit float? Have you ever used 32-bit float? Do you know the type of file sizes you get when you use 192 kilohertz 32-bit float? I mean, the size is absolutely gigantic. I don't know that you get a lot of perceived quality out of that or even real quality, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Maybe it's because I'm just doing wedding photography, videography, and maybe my use case is very niche compared to yours. I'd love to hear that. So thank you so much for watching. I want to catch you guys on the flip side. Bye for now.